The quantum phase ships emerged from nowhere. One moment, the space around Europa colony was empty save for routine cargo vessels and defense platforms. The next, 12 crystalline vessels hung in the void, their surfaces rippling like water in moonlight. No warnings, no demands, no mercy. Admiral Sarah Chen stood frozen on the bridge of the UES Defiant, watching as the alien vessels systematically dismantled humanity's outer defense grid. The quantum phase beams passed through shields and armor as if they weren't there, converting matter into pure energy in their wake. 3 centuries of human military advancement meant nothing against this technology. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cracked. "Europa colony reports critical infrastructure failures. Their atmospheric containment. It's just gone." Sarah's hands gripped the command rail until her knuckles turned white. 10,000 colonists, families, children, all about to suffocate in the vacuum of space because their protective domes had been erased from existence. "Launch every rescue pod we have," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding before her. "And get me a damn analysis of those weapons." The bridge crew worked with desperate efficiency, but Sarah could see the fear in their eyes. Humanity had encountered hostile aliens before, but nothing like this. These crystalline ships moved with impossible precision, their attacks coordinated in ways that suggested either incredible technological superiority or a hive mind. "Admiral," called out Commander Paddle from the sensor station. "I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations in their attack pattern. There's something odd about the timing." Sarah moved to his station, studying the readings. The quantum phase beams didn't fire continuously. They pulsed at regular intervals, creating a strange ripple effect in local space-time. "Show me the temporal analysis." The holographic display expanded, showing the energy signatures in 4 dimensions. Sarah's eyes narrowed as she noticed something peculiar. Each pulse lasted exactly 3.7 seconds, followed by a 1.2-second pause. Without exception. "Run a comparison with known natural phenomena," she ordered. "Focus on quantum mechanics and wave function collapse." As the computer processed her request, another defense platform vanished, its matter converted to pure energy. The crystalline ships were methodically working their way toward the Defiant. They had minutes at most. "Match found," the AI announced. "The attack pattern shares characteristics with quantum tunneling events observed in neutron stars." Sarah's mind raced. In her decades of service, she'd learned that no weapon system was perfect. Everything had a weakness, even if it wasn't immediately apparent. The precision timing of these attacks suggested the aliens weren't just showing off. They needed that specific rhythm for their weapons to function. "Engineering," she called out. "Can we modify our shield emitters to pulse in counterphase to their attacks?" "Negative, Admiral," Chief Engineer Torres responded. "Our shields operate on completely different principles. We'd need something that directly interacts with quantum states." Sarah watched as another colonial structure disappeared. Its matter converted to energy in a brilliant flash. The rhythmic nature of the attacks kept nagging at her. Something about it seemed almost familiar. "What if we used gravity?" she suggested suddenly. "Gravitational fields affect quantum states. Could we create a localized gravity pulse that disrupts their timing?" Torres was silent for a moment. "The ship's artificial gravity system isn't powerful enough. But there's something we could try. It's theoretical, completely untested." "At this point, theoretical is better than dead," Sarah replied. "What do you need?" "We've been experimenting with quantum gravity coupling in the new drive system. If we reverse the polarity and create a focused gravitational lens, we might be able to generate a field that interferes with their quantum phase beams. But, Admiral, it could just as easily tear the ship apart." Sarah watched as the closest crystalline vessel oriented toward them, its surface beginning to shimmer with building energy. "Time to impact." 40 seconds, Admiral. She took a deep breath. Sometimes leadership meant making impossible choices. Do it. Divert all power to the drive system. And Torres, it's been an honor. The engineer's voice was grim but determined. Likewise, Admiral. Initiating quantum gravity coupling. Now. The Defiant's deck plates vibrated as the experimental drive system spooled up. Warning alerts blared across every console as the ship's systems were pushed far beyond their design limits. Sarah could feel the artificial gravity fluctuating, making her stomach lurch. The closest alien vessel fired. Time seemed to slow as the quantum phase beam approached. Sarah watched, heart pounding, as the deadly energy beam met the distorted space around the Defiant. For a fraction of a second, nothing happened. Then the beam twisted, warped, and reflected back on itself. The crystalline ship didn't have time to react. Its own weapon struck it amidships, converting a quarter of its mass to energy in an instant. The vessel spun wildly, its perfect coordination disrupted. It worked. Torres shouted over the comm. The gravitational lens is creating a quantum mirror effect. Their own weapon signatures are being reflected back at them. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Target their attack points. Time our gravity pulses to their weapon frequency. Let's show them humanity isn't as helpless as they thought. The battle that followed would later be called the Miracle at Europa. A single human vessel, using hastily modified technology, managed to not only survive but triumph against a supposedly invincible alien force. But as Sarah Chen watched the last crystalline ship retreat into hyperspace, she knew this was just the beginning. "Send all our data to Earth Command," she ordered. "And get me a secure channel to Dr. Marcus Rivera at the Quantum Mechanics Institute. Something tells me we're going to need his expertise to understand what just happened here." As rescue operations began around Europa Colony, Sarah stared at the debris field of crystalline ships. Humanity had survived its first encounter with quantum phase technology, but she knew there would be more attacks. The aliens wouldn't take this defeat lightly. But they had made a crucial mistake. They had shown humanity something new, something thought impossible. And if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was taking the impossible and making it routine. "Commander Patel," she called out, "start analyzing every piece of debris we can find. I want to know everything about these ships and their weapons. If they come back, we'll be ready." The quantum gravity discovery would change everything. Not just warfare, but humanity's understanding of physics itself. As Sarah began composing her report to Earth Command, she couldn't help but wonder what other impossible things they might learn from this encounter. The war for humanity's survival had begun, but so had humanity's next great leap forward. Dr. Marcus Rivera hadn't slept in 3 days. The holographic displays surrounding his workstation at the Quantum Mechanics Institute cast an ethereal blue glow across scattered coffee cups and discarded nutrition bars. Data from the Europa incident scrolled endlessly across multiple screens, each showing different aspects of the mysterious quantum phase technology that had nearly spelled disaster for humanity. "Play it again," he mumbled to the lab's eye. "Focus on the gravitational distortion patterns during the moment of weapon reflection." The hologram shifted, showing the precise instant when the UES Defiant's improvised defense had turned the alien weapon back on itself. Marcus leaned forward, his dark eyes narrowing, as he studied the complex interference patterns. "Dr. Rivera," a voice called from the doorway. "Earth Command is requesting another update." Marcus waved dismissively without turning around. "Tell them the same thing I said yesterday. We understand how Admiral Chen stopped them, but we don't know why it worked." "Not yet." Dr. Emma Wright, his research partner, stepped into the lab. "They're not going to like that answer. Intelligence suggests the crystalline ships are regrouping. We need a reliable defense system, not a lucky accident." "Lucky?" Marcus scoffed, finally turning to face her. "That's what everyone keeps saying. But look at this." He gestured to the hologram, where the quantum phase beam twisted in an endless loop. "This isn't luck. There's something fundamental happening here, something that breaks every rule we thought we knew about quantum mechanics." Emma moved closer, studying the display. The aliens clearly mastered quantum manipulation at a level we haven't achieved yet. Their technology. No, Marcus interrupted, standing suddenly. That's what everyone assumes, but what if we're looking at this backward? What if they didn't master quantum mechanics? What if they just found one specific application and never looked deeper? He rushed to another display, pulling up geological data. Look at these readings from deep-sea hydrothermal vents. The quantum fluctuations in superheated water under extreme pressure. Now look at the pattern from the alien weapons. Emma's eyes widened as the two data sets overlapped, showing nearly identical quantum signatures. That's impossible. You're saying this advanced alien technology is replicating a natural Earth phenomenon. Not replicating, Marcus corrected, his excitement building. They're harnessing it, but they're doing it in the most brutally inefficient way possible. It's like discovering nuclear power by building bigger and bigger bombs, instead of understanding the underlying principles of nuclear fusion. He brought up more data, this time from various natural phenomena across Earth and other planets. Quantum fluctuations in lightning strikes, microscopic quantum tunneling and photosynthesis, even the strange quantum effects observed in migrating birds using Earth's magnetic field for navigation. Nature solved these problems billions of years ago, Marcus continued. We've been so focused on building our way to quantum manipulation, we never stopped to really study how it occurs naturally. But look at the crystalline ships. They're essentially giant artificial versions of quantum processes that happen around us every day. Emma sat down heavily, the implications hitting her. You're saying we don't need to match their technology. We just need to understand and enhance natural quantum processes. Exactly. Marcus pulled up the data from the Defiant's accidental defense. Admiral Chen's gravitational lens worked because it mimicked the quantum protection mechanisms found in neutron stars. It wasn't about power. It was about working with natural quantum principles instead of forcing them. He quickly began inputting calculations, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. If we combine these natural quantum patterns with our existing technology, Emma, we could develop defenses that don't just stop their weapons. They could revolutionize our understanding of physics itself. The lab hummed with energy as simulations ran, each one incorporating data from Earth's natural quantum phenomena. Traditional scientific approaches had hit a wall trying to replicate the alien technology directly. But by studying how nature handled quantum effects, they were uncovering principles that no one, human or alien, had fully grasped before. We need to expand the research, Marcus said, already planning next steps. Get me everything we have on quantum effects in deep-sea creatures, in volcanic systems, in the upper atmosphere. Earth has been running quantum experiments for billions of years. It's time we paid attention to the results. Hours turned into days as the team worked, fueled by the urgent knowledge that somewhere out there, the crystalline ships were preparing for another attack. But with each passing hour, their understanding grew. Nature's solutions proved more elegant and efficient than anything artificially designed. When the breakthrough finally came, it wasn't in the form of a mighty weapon or an impenetrable shield. Instead, it was a simple device that created a quantum field almost identical to those found around hydrothermal vents, but tuned to interact specifically with the alien weapons. It's ready for testing, Marcus announced to the assembled Earth Command representatives. But you need to understand, this isn't just a defensive tool. What we've learned here changes everything we thought we knew about quantum mechanics. This technology could revolutionize space travel, energy production, even medicine. The military officers looked skeptical, but Emma stepped forward with the test results. The quantum field generator is 3 times more efficient than the aliens' weapons, using less than 1/10 of the power. And unlike their technology, ours can be adapted to different frequencies, different applications. As the prototype was prepared for installation on the first test chip, Marcus watched with a mixture of pride and concern. Humanity had done what it did best, taken a threat and turned it into an opportunity for advancement. But he couldn't help wondering about the crystalline ships and their creators. They must have found their quantum phase technology somewhere, he mused to Emma. Maybe in ancient ruins, maybe through blind luck. But they never really understood it. They'd never looked deeper. And that's why they'll lose, Emma replied softly. Because humans never stop looking deeper. The quantum field generator hummed to life, its energy signature a perfect mirror of Earth's natural quantum processes. In trying to destroy humanity, the aliens had instead forced them to unlock secrets that had been waiting in nature all along. The next battle would be very different indeed. The crystalline fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, 30 ships strong. Their arrival at the Proxima Centauri colony was meant to be another demonstration of overwhelming force. Instead, they found themselves facing something unprecedented. A welcoming committee. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the newly commissioned UES Quantum Dawn, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The ship represented humanity's response to the quantum phase threat, not just an adaptation of existing technology, but a complete reimagining of what was possible. Multiple quantum signatures detected, reported Lieutenant Rodriguez, now serving as her tactical officer. They're charging weapons. Let them. Sarah replied calmly. Status of our quantum field generators. Dr. Marcus Rivera's voice came through the comm system from his station in engineering. All systems nominal. Admiral. Natural quantum resonance patterns are holding steady. We're essentially invisible to their targeting systems. The first alien vessel fired, its quantum phase beam lancing out toward the human fleet. Instead of the devastating matter-to-energy conversion they expected, the beam simply disappeared, absorbed into the quantum field surrounding the human ships like rain into an ocean. Signal the fleet, Sarah ordered. Execute Operation Paradigm Shift. The human response was beautiful in its elegance, rather than returning fire with traditional weapons or even the reflected quantum phase beams that had worked at Europa. Each ship activated a specially tuned quantum field. The fields expanded, intersecting and overlapping in complex patterns derived from Earth's deep-sea thermal vents. The effect on the crystalline ships was immediate and dramatic. Their perfect formations began to waver as their quantum phase systems failed to function within the altered space. Some ships tried to retreat, only to find their hyperspace drives unresponsive. They're trapped in our quantum net, Marcus reported, excitement evident in his voice. Just like we predicted. Their technology can't handle multiple overlapping natural quantum states. Sarah nodded. Begin Phase 2. Let's show them what else we've learned from Mother Nature. The Quantum Dawn's main drive activated, but this wasn't the brutal force of traditional propulsion. Instead, the ship moved like a sea creature riding ocean currents, using quantum slipstreams modeled after the way dolphins navigate through water. The maneuver brought them alongside the largest crystalline vessel, close enough to see the confusion evident in its erratic movements. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Communications Officer Park announced, including the quantum band we detected them using. Sarah stepped forward. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Fleet. Your quantum phase technology is now neutralized. Surrender and prepare for boarding, or we will be forced to demonstrate our own advancements. The response came in the form of a desperate attack. Several crystalline ships fired simultaneously, their beams distorting wildly in the quantum fields. Some shots missed entirely, while others reflected back in unpredictable patterns. They're not going to surrender, Sarah observed. Dr. Rivera, you're cleared to demonstrate our new offensive capabilities. Marcus's hands flew across his console, adjusting the quantum field generators, initiating quantum cascade based on lightning strike patterns from Earth's upper atmosphere. The effect was devastating in its precision. Rather than destroying the alien ships, the quantum cascade disrupted their internal systems. Crystalline vessels began powering down, their once beautiful surfaces turning dull and lifeless. Reading multiple hull breaches, Rodriguez reported. Their quantum containment systems are failing. Life support is critical on at least 12 ships. Sarah's expression hardened. Launch rescue operations. I want prisoners for questioning, and I want their ships intact enough to study. As human boarding parties deployed, Sarah received a priority message from Earth Command. The data they'd collected confirmed their suspicions. The crystalline ships were part of a civilization that had found quantum phase technology in ancient ruins. They'd spent centuries learning to use it, but never to understand it. Status report, she called out. 23 ships disabled. Rodriguez answered. 7 have managed to maintain minimal life support. The remainder, their crews are abandoning ship. Sarah watched as escape pods ejected from the dying vessels. Each one was quickly tractored aboard waiting human ships, their occupants about to learn just how much humanity had evolved. Admiral, Marcus called out, his voice tense. We're detecting some kind of deadman switch activation in their disabled ships. They're trying to self-destruct rather than be captured. Not today, Sarah replied. She opened a channel to the fleet. All ships implement Containment Protocol Delta. Use the coral reef quantum pattern. The human fleet responded instantly, generating quantum fields that mimic the complex interactions found in Earth's coral reefs. The fields wrapped around the crystalline ships, stabilizing their failing systems and preventing the cascade failures that would have destroyed them. Multiple alien life signs detected in the secured vessels, Medical Officer Chang reported. They're in shock, but stable. Preliminary scans suggest they've never encountered quantum fields like ours before. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Of course they haven't. They spent so long trying to master one specific application of quantum mechanics, they never looked at the bigger picture. They never thought to learn from nature itself. As rescue operations continued, Sarah composed her report to Earth Command. The battle would be studied for generations, not for its violence, but for what it represented. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not by simply copying their enemies' weapons, but by fundamentally changing their understanding of the universe. Dr. Rivera, she called out. How soon can we begin studying their ships? Teams are already boarding, he replied. But honestly, Admiral, I don't expect to learn much from their technology. Nature's solutions are far more elegant. We've already surpassed them by simply paying attention to what Earth's been teaching us all along. The quantum fields continued to shimmer around the fleet, beautiful and terrible in their efficiency. Humanity had not just survived. They had evolved, turning an existential threat into an opportunity for growth that their attackers had never imagined possible. The war was effectively over, but the revolution in human understanding was just beginning. The grand chamber of the Galactic Concordat buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from over 200 spacefaring civilizations had gathered for what many believed would be the most significant diplomatic summit in 10,000 years. At the center of attention was the human delegation, led by Ambassador Diana Patul, who sat calmly despite the weight of countless alien gazes. High Arbiter Zixtal, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate crystalline matrix, addressed the assembly. We face an unprecedented situation. The humans, a species barely 3 centuries into their interstellar age, have not only defeated the crystalline dominion, but have fundamentally altered our understanding of quantum mechanics. Diana observed the various reactions across the chamber. Some species showed clear signs of fear, others curiosity, and a few, particularly the older civilizations, displayed what she recognized as approval. The defeated crystalline dominion representatives sat in isolated shame, their once proud forms dimmed with humiliation. The humans must share this technology, demanded Lord Krithak of the Silicon Collective, his crystalline form vibrating with intensity. The balance of power. We are not here to share technology, Diana interrupted smoothly, her voice carrying through the chamber. We are here to share understanding. She stood, activating a holographic display that filled the center of the chamber. It showed various natural phenomena from Earth, lightning strikes, deep sea vents, photosynthesis in action, and the quantum navigation of migrating birds. What you call our technology is simply our recognition of patterns that exist throughout the natural universe, she continued. The crystalline Dominion found ancient quantum phase weapons and spent centuries learning to use them without understanding them. We look to nature and learn to work with it rather than trying to control it. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices and electromagnetic communications. Ambassador Elenthor of the Luminous Conclave raised her glowing appendage. You expect us to believe that primitive natural phenomena led to such advancement? Our civilizations have studied quantum mechanics for millennia. Dr. Marcus Rivera, now Earth's chief scientific advisor, stepped forward. With respect, Ambassador, you've studied quantum mechanics through the lens of artificial manipulation. We simply observed how the universe handles quantum effects naturally and learned from that. He gestured to the holographic display, which now showed the quantum fields used in the recent battle. Our defensive fields mimic the quantum states found in Earth's coral reefs. Our propulsion systems are based on how dolphins move through water. Even our communication technology is derived from studying how trees share information through quantum-entangled root networks. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. These weren't just new weapons or shields. This was a fundamentally different approach to science itself. High Arbiter Zixtal's energy form pulsed thoughtfully. You offer to share this understanding. Without restriction. With one condition, Diana replied. The knowledge must be used for advancement, not conquest. We propose the establishment of a new scientific coalition focused on studying and learning from natural quantum phenomena throughout the galaxy. The Crystalline Dominion's representative, Sub-Commander Vrix, suddenly spoke. Our civilization spent generations mastering quantum phase technology. We thought ourselves superior, undefeatable. Yet in months, the humans didn't just counter our weapons. They showed us how limited our understanding was. Diana turned to face them directly. Which is why we invite you to join us. Your expertise with quantum manipulation, combined with our natural approach, could lead to discoveries we can't yet imagine. The political maneuvering that followed was intense. Some species demanded immediate access to human quantum technology. Others proposed strict regulations on its use. A few even suggested containing humanity's expansion, fearing their rapid advancement. But Diana had one final card to play. Yesterday, she announced, silencing the chamber, our scientists discovered quantum communication patterns between stars. Natural quantum entanglement on a cosmic scale. We've only begun to understand what this means, but it suggests the universe itself has been trying to teach us, if we're willing to listen. She let that sink in before continuing. We stand at a crossroads. We can continue trying to force the universe to bow to our will, or we can learn to work in harmony with it. Humanity chooses harmony. We invite you to join us. The debate raged for days, but the outcome was inevitable. One by one, species began pledging support for the new coalition. Even the Crystalline Dominion, humbled by their defeat, eventually agreed to share their ancient quantum phase technology for comparative study. As the summit concluded, Diana found herself sharing a quiet moment with Dr. Rivera, watching ships of various species departing the diplomatic station. Do you think they really understand? She asked. That this isn't about technology at all. Marcus smiled, observing a group of alien scientists eagerly discussing quantum field patterns with their human counterparts. Some do. The others will learn. That's the beautiful thing about natural law. It doesn't care about politics or power. It just is, and it's been waiting for us to notice all along. The Galactic Concordat would never be the same. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not as conquerors or victims, but as teachers, showing ancient civilizations how to see the universe with new eyes. The quantum dance of reality continued. And now, finally, they were all beginning to learn its steps. 5 years after the quantum summit, the landscape of known space had transformed beyond recognition. The gleaming spire of the Galactic Institute of Natural Sciences rose from the surface of Mars, its quantum-harmonized architecture reflecting the changing colors of the sunset. Inside, Admiral Sarah Chen, now retired from military service, walked alongside Dr. Marcus Rivera through halls filled with scientists from across the galaxy. "Did you ever imagine this?" Sarah asked, gesturing to a chamber where crystalline beings worked alongside humans, studying the quantum patterns of a newly discovered space-dwelling life form. 5 years ago, we were at war with them. Marcus smiled, pausing to observe a holographic display showing the vast network of natural quantum communications they'd discovered between stars. "I imagined something better than war. I don't think anyone imagined this." They entered the central atrium, where Ambassador Diana Patul was preparing to address representatives from over 500 civilizations, more than double the number present at the original summit. The chamber hummed with a harmony of quantum fields as various species used their newly developed natural quantum technology to translate and communicate. "Distinguished colleagues," Diana began, her voice carrying clearly through the quantum-enhanced acoustics. "Today marks 5 years since we chose to learn from the universe rather than impose our will upon it. The results have exceeded our wildest expectations." The holographic displays activated, showing achievements that would have seemed impossible just years ago. Quantum healing centers that used patterns found in Earth's deep-sea bacteria to cure previously terminal diseases. Ships that traveled through space using quantum slipstreams modeled after bird migration patterns. Communication systems that mimicked the quantum networks of forest ecosystems. But our greatest discovery, Diana continued, was not technological at all. It was the recognition that the universe itself is not a resource to be exploited, but a teacher to be heeded. High Arbiter Zixtal, now co-chair of the Institute, moved forward, his energy form pulsing with excitement. "We have confirmed that the quantum patterns we discovered between stars form part of a vast natural network. What we once thought was empty space is alive with quantum communications that have existed for billions of years." The announcement sent waves of excitement through the assembly. Even the oldest civilizations, those who had thought themselves masters of science, were learning new wonders daily. Sarah leaned closer to Marcus. "Remember when we thought we were just developing better weapons?" "We developed something better," he replied. "We developed understanding." The evidence was all around them. Species that had once competed for resources now collaborated, each bringing their unique perspectives to the study of natural quantum phenomena. The crystalline dominion, their warlike past behind them, had become leaders in quantum architecture, creating structures that worked in harmony with natural quantum fields. Diana activated a final holographic display, showing the first images from the quantum telescopes that could now peer deeper into space than ever before. "We've detected quantum signatures that suggest intelligent life far beyond our known galaxy. Not signals sent by technology, but natural quantum entanglement patterns that show evidence of conscious manipulation." The assembly buzzed with excitement. The universe had suddenly become much larger and much more interesting. "We stand at the beginning of a new age," Diana concluded. "Not an age of conquest or competition, but one of discovery and harmony. The universe has been speaking to us since the beginning of time. Now, finally, we're learning to listen." As the assembly moved into celebration, Sarah found herself standing with Marcus and Diana on one of the Institute's observation decks. Below them, Mars stretched red and vast, dotted with the quantum-harmonized domes of human and alien settlements. Above, the stars twinkled with new meaning, each one potentially part of the vast natural quantum network they were only beginning to understand. "What do you think happens next?" Sarah asked, looking out at the horizon where Earth shone as a bright blue star. Marcus smiled. "That's the beautiful thing about natural law. It doesn't end. There's always something new to discover, always another pattern to understand. We just have to keep paying attention." Diana nodded, watching as ships from dozens of species moved through the quantum slipstreams above Mars, their paths following patterns as ancient as the universe itself. "We thought we were reaching for the stars," she said softly. "Turns out they were reaching for us all along. We just had to learn how to reach back." The quantum fields shimmed around them, singing with possibilities that no one, human or alien, had yet imagined. The new dawn had arrived, not with the thunder of conquest or the flash of weapons, but with the quiet revelation that the greatest teacher had been there all along, the universe itself. And humanity, the species that had learned to listen, was leading the way into a future where technology and nature weren't adversaries, but partners in the greatest adventure of all, understanding. The stars continued their quantum dance overhead, and somewhere in the vast network of natural communication, new patterns were forming, new discoveries waiting to be made. The story of humanity's rise wasn't ending, it was just beginning.